Okay, well, haven't gotten quite as much writing done lately as I would have liked. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my private life, mostly centering around school. As some of you may know, I recently graduated from college, Southern New Hampshire University, with my bachelor's in psychology. I am currently pursuing my master's in clinical mental health counseling. Part of that is you have what is called a theorem and a practicum. The theorem is when you are learning in your classrooms with your instructors, with your classmates, all the studying and discussing and chit-chatting back and forth. The practicum is where you have to sit down and show how you're going to use all this. And right now I am getting ready for the first part of my practicum, which is my residency. I'm going to be working directly with instructors, classmates, simulating, counseling sessions, being a counselor, being a patient, being an observer, learning all the different ways to communicate, the nonverbal body language, tones, inflections, and so on. Even though I have been doing this for a long time, sitting down and being watched and observed and not necessarily graded, but critiqued on it is a little nerve-wracking. That's what I have been working on. We just started our second term for the master's program, and this is the, lab skills for me, for a counselor. The lab skills are the interactions with classmates, instructors, clients, and so forth. And we're also having to go through all this process of filling out our field placement applications where we want to do our next step of our internships. We have to have this in place before we do our second residency, which will be taking place sometime in 2026. Believe it or not, is not that far off, especially when you sit and you look at things in 10-week increments. I have 12 terms before I begin my full practicum of working with a licensed counselor for 2 years. I'm in term 2 of 12, and it's been something. It definitely has been something that I can draw on in my writing, and that I can draw on from things that I have learned, both as 33 years, I had to count on it, 33 years in the clergy, having studied espionage and forensics and forensic psychology and so on. It's given me a lot to draw on, to understand, to go into all this. At first, I was thinking that maybe I am kind of too old. I just turned 58. I will be entering the counseling profession at a time when most people are finishing up their careers and getting ready to retire and considering what they're going to do with their golden age. And I even shared this with my counselor. I said, this is something that I've kind of wondered about. Am I getting too old to get into this? And she said, no. In fact, it was probably a good idea for you to do it now. As she explained why, I understood why some men in the Roman Catholic Church especially will do what's known as a second vocation priesthood. That's when they've had a career in a totally different field. They've married, they've had children, they've raised a family, they find themselves widowers, but they had always had a calling to the priesthood, and they decide to do it now. It's a second vocation, and they have a wide variety of experiences to draw on to help counsel and guide and nurture. And she said, you have a very varied past. Been a priest, missionary, a professional wrestler, a writer. I have had experiences that have taken me all over the country, all over the world. She says you have a lot of understanding that comes from that. You also are an older person. You give off a grandfatherly vibe, and you would probably be what a lot of people are looking for in counseling. So she encouraged me to stick with it, so I've decided, okay, let's do it. So that is what I have been doing. What do you do in your spare time? Oh, and obviously I have to deal with confidentiality. I can't do any videos in my residency, but I will try and send some and post some during my downtime and let you know how everything is going.